Everybody, welcome back. So, as you saw in part 2 of 3 of that Hunter's Lodge unboxing, I unboxed a couple of Spanish FR8s. Today, we're going to take a little bit closer look at these FR8s. Now, I do want to preface this with telling you that I did start by backing these bolts out that hold this retaining cap in, simply because they're a pain to get to, and you have to have a really long screwdriver just to get through that triple tree to get to where that screw is. So I did go ahead and loosen those up before I started filming here. Additionally, on one of these FR8s, I did go ahead and take out that cleaning kit, or whatever you want to call it, that little spare compartment, which surprisingly just has a little bit of surface rust on it. It doesn't look terrible. It is parkerized finish. You can tell there's a little bit of rust there, but on the inside, it looks great. I mean, there's nothing in here, but it's in good condition. I do know right off the bat, I'll have to get another one of these so that I have two, since one of the FR8s did not come with it. But without further ado, let's start with one of these on taking this stock off and taking a closer look at what we got going on underneath the wood. As you well know, always check a firearm under the wood, because it can be hiding all sorts of nasty surprises. And as always, as you saw in the beginning of this video, all firearms are unloaded and handled in a safe environment. So what we're going to start by doing is cutting this tape off here where they were keeping this upper handguard on. I would imagine that the retaining clip in here, it's probably non-existent, or the screws possibly rusted through. I know that's a common occurrence on a lot of the Mausers and those upper handguards. It's just par for the course pretty much. So once that tape's off, this thing looks like it lifts right off. Okay, so it looks like it used to have the clip in there, but as you can tell, those screws might have ended up either wallowed out or rusted out or something. I'm not really sure there, but the handguard otherwise appears to be in good condition. I do know you can fill these in with like some wood filler, and I mean, you could make this usable again for sure. It's not like that's the end of the world. But let's go ahead and get this long screw out, which holds this cap in. It does have some rust on it, but it's not terrible. The head looks good. Let's go ahead and slide this cap forward, because as you guys well know, sometimes they can always be hiding some nasty surprises. It's a little bit of surface rust going on in here, but I wouldn't say it's anything terrible. And one thing I didn't show you is there is a little bit of pitting on this upper receiver, which that's to be expected. I mean, these were reused Spanish M43 Mauser actions, so I'm not terribly worried or concerned about that. Let's see if we can go ahead and get these keepers out of here, and we can separate this upper part from this lower part. I'm very curious to see, like I said, how bad does this really look under the wood. You got some surface rust going on there on that one lock screw, keeper, whatever you want to call it. I kind of use them interchangeably. Ooh, that one's a little tight. It's probably rusted some. But it does not look terrible. Appears to be in good shape. Let's move on to the back side here. These are going to be a little bit more fun to get to. These are usually a little bit more notorious for having issues wanting to come out. That one's pretty tight. Probably rusted in place a little bit, but it did break free. Now if I can just get it out of here, we'll be doing better. I don't know where you can see that. May have to just insert some pictures in here on these. This one doesn't really look bad, to be honest. Let's stick that on the other side of the bolt over there. And let's get this other screw out. That one actually broke through, or broke loose quite easily. Now this is the one that did have a stock repair, which is fine. I mean, I'm going to replace this anyway with those new old stocks like I showed you. Put a little screenshot in there in that unboxing video that I got from RTG Parts. I've not gotten those in yet, but as soon as I do, I'll make sure and do an unboxing so you guys know what to expect on that. This one definitely feels more gritty. I can feel more rust on it. Actually, it's really not as bad as I thought. Head's still good. Really doesn't look terrible, to be honest. And it's just kind of been neglected some. Let's see if we can drop this. Pull this mag housing trigger guard out. May not be able to. May just have to separate the upper from it first. Okay. You know, as expected, yes, I do expect to find some rust under the wood line here. Is it the end of the world? No, it's not. So we got a little bit right here. Let me flip this over and around so maybe you guys can see a little bit better screenshot or image of it. And that doesn't really look all that bad. Just for instance, probably shouldn't be doing it with that knife. I should be doing it with a brush is what I should be doing. So you can see, you know, it's a little bit of pitting, but it's not like it's ate all the way through it or anything. Likewise, you got a little bit on the other side of the receiver right here at the wood line. You know, kind of like a little bit of build-up slag. But you see I knocked some of that right off. So the parkerizing that this had did help protect it some. But overall, you know, I've seen, honestly guys, once I get this cleaned up, I think you're going to see that it's not really quite as bad as one might think. But yeah, it's got a little bit of pitting there, but it's not anything I'm really worried about. And this down here, I don't even know what that is. That's not, I guess that's like some kind of rust. You got, you know, very, very minor right here at the breech, or where the barrel meat is screwed into the receiver. You know, there's a little bit of cosmoline right here. You got a very, very small amount light surface rust right here. But, you know, I'm really not worried about it. Now, the big thing I do need to check on here is this trigger guard. This is probably a problematic area, much like it was on the M43. See if I can get this thing to separate from here. This thing just wants to be stubborn. Okay, so that was in there pretty good. Okay, so problematic areas, much like the Spanish M43s, there's going to be some, looks like there is some rust along that mag housing, but it doesn't look like it's anything that's like terribly bad that's going to affect functionality. Got a little bit here. It might interfere with that floor plate, but I bet you I can probably press that button and get this joker. It might be rusted along this line here, but I bet I can get this back. I bet I can get this thing separated. I just really need a third hand to do it right now. But it doesn't look really terrible, to be honest. You know, you got a little bit of build-up kind of slag here. when you scrape it just a little, it really doesn't look that bad. You know, did I expect this to have some rust? Of course. I don't expect this to be a safe clean. It'd be crazy to think that. But I think it's perfectly usable. You know, I can clean this up. You know, I'm not going to do a rust conversion on it because this is Parkerizing. What I may do is I may strip this down to the bare metal and actually repark all of it. Not sure. I'll have to think on that one. As you can still see, you know, there's still quite a bit of cosmoline down in there. I just wish there'd been a lot more like right in here to protect this a little bit better. But it is what it is. You know, I'm just kind of scraping some of this cosmoline out of the way. Well, now I'm scraping it into the numbers, so now you can't even see those very good, so I kind of messed that one up. But you can see the Cal 762 there. This one does have that pin retainer piece here that this screw actually goes in to hold that end cap on, so that's good. Strangely enough, I'm not really sure what that is there, but I don't think that's metal. Oh, that's wood. Okay, so that's looks like kind of like a wood, maybe a wood shim when they originally fitted it to the stock. Of course, there's your lug. And my retainer just fell out. Where did it go? There it is. And you can get new parts like this on Limerick Gun Parts. But all my pieces are here in order to fit them onto my new stock. So that's a big plus there. You know, these screws look good. Sling swivel looks good. I think this thing gets hammered in. I don't really remember. I have to look into that. Of course, butt plate looks good. Butt plate screws look fine. They're not, you know, boogered up. I think it's perfectly usable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video here. I'm going to kind of move this to the side, get my other one up here, and then we're going to disassemble it and take a quick look at it. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back. So now we're going to take a look at this second one. First, second, I don't even remember anymore. Whichever one it ended up being. Get this bolt out. You know, there's quite a bit of rust and grease in here, so it's not the easiest to get out of there. Once again, you know, I loosen this screw on the front. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. Threads look good on it. Actually looks better than the other one. So there's quite a bit of cosmoline on the head there. So we're going to set that to the side because I don't want to get these mixed up between the two rifles. I'll probably end up doing that anyway. Alright, so let's see. Trying to figure out the best way to separate these here. Here we go. I have an entry point here. I'm trying not to, well, I guess it doesn't matter on this one as much because this stock is definitely not going to be used. You guys are probably having a cow right now because I'm prying with a screwdriver. Let's see. It's just really not an easy way to approach this. It's not one to come out of there very easily. Wow, thing does not want to play nice. Well, alright, well let's try a different approach. Let's go ahead and get this tape cut off of here. Once again, I'm not overly concerned. I know I'm not going to be reusing this because this has a really bad crack in it. It's a beautiful stock, unfortunately. but probably not safe to shoot. Actually, I know it's not safe to shoot. You guys did see the other side, right? So now that I'm taking this tape off, this thing's probably going to fall apart on me. It's probably the only thing holding it together. Oh yeah. You guys can see how that is. Practically nothing there. Okay, so let's get to these lock screws. This one actually loosened up a lot better than the other one. Still does have a small amount of rust. Let's get the other screw. Looks really good actually. Of course it is parkerized. It still has some cosmoline on it. That's that brown there. Let's see if I can get to the back one. That is usually my area of concern, because for whatever reason these things are really prone to seizing up. Yeah, I can feel this one moving some rust. Well, you can see that kind of shined up the screw there where it was rubbing. Probably because this rear screw wasn't exactly seated perfect and it was probably scoring it as I was unscrewing it. Because I can actually see a piece of the metal on that screw as I'm turning it around. Let's get this out of here. The screw actually looks really good. Once again, parkerized. There's that tiny piece of metal I was telling you about. Anyway, so let's get this stock separated. I'll try to anyway. Thing is certainly busted up. Okay. The lug is still here, so that's a plus. And actually, and the little screw retainer just fell out of the stock. It's actually in really good shape. A little bit of rust there. I think that'll clean up. But I want to say this magazine housing / trigger guard looks better than the other one. Trying to figure out the best way to hammer on this and get it separated. I have to do it on the edge of the table where you guys can't see it. So my apologies there for that. I really need a third hand. This is kind of crazy over here. Trying to keep this from falling on the floor as I'm hammering on the side of the table. And once again, if you guys don't like doing repairs like this, then this probably isn't going to be for you. A little bit of rust on the front side here, I kind of expected that. But it actually does look better than the other one. Once again, you've got that block that's down inside of that magazine housing for that shorter 7.62 NATO round. But I think this will clean right up. Once again, that's like rust and cosmoline mixed. Actually, it looks like rust got in the cosmoline. But it looks good. And once again, does look better than the other one. Of course, I do have all my components here. So I can still rob them off of this stock. This butt plate is a little bit worse for wear, but it'll be okay. It'll work just fine on that new stock that I'm going to put it on. But yeah, there's that break. Pretty gnarly. Of course, part of the 4 stock, you know, there's your lug. And from what I understand is you can actually do a little bit of grinding on these to adjust your headspace. Don't quote me on that one. I got to do a little bit more research on that to check myself. But I'm fairly certain that's what I was reading in a forum somewhere. So that's why I wasn't overly concerned about headspace. Now, you'll see here, it does look like this might be kind of wedged in place. So we're going to see if we can get it off of here without destroying too much, hopefully. There it is. I just had a little bit of tiny amount of rust and some Cosmoline kind of holding it on there. Of course, the inside looks a little rough, but I'm going to clean that up. Now, the plus side on this one as opposed to the other one, if I can keep this from breaking, I'm always paranoid about taking these off. And there we go. This one still has the retaining clip. Of course, it looks like a little bit of rust, unfortunately, got under the front of that handguard, or moisture rather, which in turn did cause some surface rust on the barrel here. Of course, you can see where that clip came off, that retaining clip. There's a tiny amount of rust here. The upper receiver on this one actually looks, or your receiver, I'm sorry, on this one actually looks better than the other one. And this is really the only point of contention here. Now, I'm just going to rub this so we can get a little bit better look at what's going on under this rust. I mean, I'm not taking any steel wool to this. You know, I just want to kind of see how bad does this really look. And honestly, guys, I've seen pitting this deep on M1 Garand receivers recently from the CMP. Now, granted, they cleaned it up, they parkerized over it, you know, everything. And I think that was some of the batch that probably came back from the Philippines, but this is usable. I mean, I don't care who you are. You guys may, you know, may give it the stink eye, but I think it's perfectly fine. It's not going to win any beauty contests. It's not a safe queen. I've already stated that. Of course, I need to clean up this chamber some inside of this receiver. But I think these are nice. Pretty pleased actually with the amount of rust that I'm seeing. It could always be much worse, as you guys did see my $98 Spanish M43 Mauser. It can always be a little worse. But like I said, there's that clip, and I'll have to buy one of these for my other stock set. Actually, I may just buy 2 just for the heck of it, just to have on hand. But like I said, it looks like water got in under that handguard and then in turn caused the barrel to rust. But there you have it. There are those 2. That's your actually. There's your condition under the wood. Actually, let me just get this wood out of the way. I've got stuff everywhere. I've got parts everywhere. I've got stuff scattered everywhere. Get this stock over here out of the way. Just got spaces at a premium here at the kitchen table today. But let me get some of this stuff kind of moved so I can kind of show you guys. You know, you get a little bit of a comparison here, you know, between the first one and the second one. Actually, this one came off of this one. But, truth be told, And I will insert pictures and get a little bit better close-ups on these. Truth be told, perfectly serviceable rifles, and I still think they're going to be safe. You know, obviously, yes, I will check the headspace with the bolts, but, you know, I think these are perfectly usable. Yeah, they're not going to win any beauty contests for sure, but I think they will work just fine. And like I said, I can always strip these down to bare metal and repark everything and get them looking in a much better condition. Of course, you're going to have a little bit of leftover pitting, but you know, once you get rid of all that rust, you know, you'll have a nice good surface with which to repark. So anyway, just wanted to show this to you guys. By the way, if you guys are buying one of these, and you're going to need, obviously you'll need a stock set, but if you need additional parts, Numrich, also a lot of people call it Gun Parts Corp, they do have a lot of interesting items such as these clips, these screws, as well as these retaining plates, as well as these screws that hold this into this, onto the stock. I mean, they've got a lot of those parts. It doesn't look like I'm really missing anything here other than, you know, another one of these, this little storage compartment. Gun Parts Corp also has these. They have these both with the button retainer and without. I really don't know why you would have one without, seeing as how they lock into this triple tree. So, like I said, I don't know everything about these, but I'm gonna snag me another one of these, a few more little piece parts, and get these cleaned up in a future video, and then we'll get them back together, do some headspace checks, obviously, and you know, maybe get them to range in the near future. We'll find out. You guys know me. I have tons of projects on my plate. I always have tons. But anyway, like I said, just wanted to give you a quick. I know it's not quick. I always say it's quick. It's never quick because I take forever. But just wanted to do this video to kind of show you what you could expect under the wood for these Spanish FR8s that I got from Hunter's Lodge. So as always, guys, I do appreciate the comments. I know some of you hate Hunter's Lodge. It's perfectly fine. But I dare say you won't find too many people that are probably crazy enough to take a gamble on them. One of which being me, another being the Wolf Hunter, another one being Rusty Surplus. We've got links to their channels down in the description below. Make sure you go and check them out. Show them some love. They do some very similar things I do. Wolf Hunter actually does a lot of revolvers, which I do not do, as you have seen on my channel. I mainly do rifles. Rusty Surplus, on the other hand, he does a lot of carbines. He doesn't do a lot of very long, large rifles. He likes the shorter rifles, typically. He also has a very nice collection of M1 carbines, by the way. So if you're interested in those, make sure you check his channel out. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll be doing more videos like this. I'm going to tear those SKSs down so you can take a good look at them under the wood, see what you can expect. And as always, once again, thanks to my subscribers. Thank everybody for your likes, for your shares, your comments, and make sure you hit that bell notification to sign up for notifications anytime I put new content like this out, or anytime I post any sorts of deals out there that you guys might be interested in. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, you guys have a great day.